breakup. True story. I'm telling you true stories. So what? Does that mean that there's no evidence for the existence of God? There is evidence. It's that I don't want to change my lifestyle. So what do you do? One of two things. Either come back to purity and leave that life, or do some kind of arrangements with your girlfriend, or say, God doesn't exist. You know what it's like? That's like you're sitting in your room in the dark and you're doing something bad or inappropriate, whatever that is, or thinking bad thoughts or doing bad things, whatever that is. Can anybody see you? It's dark. Now someone comes and turns on the light. You're now what? Exposed. So you have two options. Stop what you're doing. Now you're exposed. Come to the light. Or very simply, turn off the light. And that's what sometimes people do. Anyways, I don't know why we veered into this conversation. Means it's all about you. It's all your fault. Okay, yes, questions. Okay, your question, then you're next.
All the evidence proves that there is a God, but how would someone be able to find like our God, or I guess like the right God?
Excellent. That's Sunday.
Okay.
Are you here Sunday?
Yes.
You better come on Sunday, because see, this is how progressively approach the argument. First, you say there must be a God with these attributes. Now, is it the Muslim God? Is it the Buddhist God, the Hindu God, or the Christian God? What makes Christianity unique as far as the true faith? That's Sunday. Mishkila? Okay, any other? You had a question.
What if a person's like agnostic?
Hello, Awi. What if a person is agnostic? Well, we have to know what agnostic mean. What does agnostic mean? It's a fashionable way to say I'm an atheist. It just sounds chic, intellectual. I'm an agnostic. I'm not an atheist. Hello, Awi. What does agnostic mean? That's skeptical. You're close. Okay, the word alpha, the letter alpha in Greek, opposite of. Atheist, no God. Atypical, not typical. So alpha is opposite of. Gnosis in Greek means what? Verb to know comes from the Greek word gnosis. That's why we have a K, kno, because it comes from gno in Greek. So agnostic, I don't know. There are the passive agnostics who say, I don't know if God exists. Give me some evidence and I may think about it. The aggressive agnostics say, I don't know, you don't know, nobody knows. To them, I ask this question, how do you know that nobody knows? You must know that nobody knows for you to say nobody knows. Go ahead. What if someone was an Orthodox, Coptic Orthodox and switched to agnostic? Then I will just have to know why. What are the reasons? And for you to know why, you have to ask questions. My advice to you, my friends, if you want to speak to someone about your faith or their faith, ask questions. Do not lecture. People don't want to be told what to do, let alone what to believe in. But they're willing to entertain questions. You just have to ask wise, thought-provoking questions. Why? I don't know if God exists. Are you willing to consider if I can share with you some evidence that I have? And then so on. What makes you sure? What makes you believe that? What is the conclusion that you've arrived at? Or, what references do you have? And so on and so forth. Ask questions. Yes. Good, Fadali.
Hi.
Hi.
So I always wondered if there was any, period in history where atheism was as prominent as it is now. And if not, what was the interval or change that occurred for atheism to be so prominent?
Yes, excellent question. I love your question. I'll share with you something on the screen. Okay, I thought I have it. I deleted it instead of hiding it. See, that's my fault. All right. Forget it. So, yes, from the 1st to the 17th century, there was a period. I'll get it. I can show it on the screen because it's probably better for you to see it and hear it as well. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. Okay. Okay, can you see the screen? Okay, perfect. So, from the 1st to the 17th century, it's an era marked by a worldview called pre-modernism. And people generally speaking, believed that God does exist, and there were theists, generally speaking. Of course, there were atheists from day one, right? Remember Genesis 3? When Satan told Adam and Eve, has God really said? Instilled doubt in their minds. Anyways, so the truth came from God and people lived by faith in that era. Then you go from the 19th or 18th to the 20th century, atheism became very prevalent. Why? Your question, why? Movements like the Industrial Revolution, the Renaissance in Europe, the Enlightenment period in Europe, what happened? Accomplishments, achievements. People began to realize, oh, wait a minute, I can achieve this and I can accomplish this. Then I don't need God anymore. I become God. So atheism became, and then people like Immanuel Kant, Karl Marx, Sigmund Freud, Friedrich Nietzsche, Charles Darwin, these were proponents of the atheistic worldview. They thrived on these movements in Western Europe specifically. And then this period, this era we live in, is now called not modernism, not pre-modernism, but postmodernism. In the atheistic period, truth does not come from God anymore. Truth comes from science. I don't live by faith anymore. I live by reason. That's in that modern era. In the pre-modern and the postmodern era, the era we live in now, truth doesn't come from God, doesn't come from science. Truth is dead. I don't live by faith. I don't live by reason. I live by feelings. And if you watch Oprah, this is what you'll hear all day long. Follow your hearts. Follow your feelings. Feelings became God in this day and age. I feel I'm a man trapped in a woman's body. I feel this. I feel. I don't want to open this kind of worms, but I'm just telling you how feelings now dictate what you need to do because they're true. Be authentic to you do you, I do me. Live your authentic truth. And all these words are what? It's all about feelings. This is the world we live in. Deepak Chopra, I'm sure you've heard of him. Oprah, Eckhart Tolle, Paulo Coelho with The Alchemist. All of these are the gods of this age. So to answer your question, I hope I did, the prevalence of atheism came as a result of the Industrial Revolution, the Enlightenment, and the Renaissance. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I just have a little follow-up.
Sure.
Do you think had there not been a scientific revolution that humanism is inevitable? Because, I mean, revolution is so confusing to me, but I think in the end days, either way, humanism is inevitable. But what are your thoughts on that?
I believe humanism is inevitable because, again, I look at the scriptures as my source of truth. The Lord Jesus Christ even said, He said, when I come back, لعله يجد الإيمان على الأرض, which means
I don't know.
I know. I'm trying to translate that in my mind. He might not. People will be cold as far as their faith, and they will be Can someone help me? Well, I know the verse, I just don't know it in English. Forgive me.
Can you say it slowly?
What is that?
Can you say it slowly?
God may not even find a lot of people with faith in this world when he comes back, because humanism will be very rampant. Do you not see that going on? I see AI taking over. I see ChatGPT taking over. I see machine learning taking over. Why did I mention that? Anyways, it's not a commercial for AI. But I see the universe is just changing weekly. And I think humanism is rampant. That's why, my very dear friends, it's important for us to have a meeting like this and to know why we believe what we believe, so that we can influence the world around us. طب last question عشان الساعة 9. واحنا over time مش كده؟ ف one more question and عشان كفاية كده اتفضل.
It ties it a little bit with the modern atheism era, with the whole like fossils and like Neanderthals and things. I know it's a big topic, but when someone says like, oh well, there are these fossils that are evidence that we like came from like monkeys or what's your like
Alejandro, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you. There's a book called Who Was Adam? Excellent book. And I recommend for you to read it or to buy it and read it. It's a good read that talks about the Neanderthals, and also there's a Nobel Prize winner just recently who discovered that there's 99% similarity between our genetic composition and other species, animals, and so on and so forth. So this book is spot on. It addresses your question very, very well. Yes. All right. So my dear friends, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was relevant. By the way, this is just 25% of what I had intended to share with you. بس يعني we'll follow up, God willing, tomorrow at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock we'll meet, and I hope to see all your wonderful faces tomorrow and bring your good, intelligent, thought-provoking questions with you. I appreciate your questions, your comments. Thank you for your attention, and I'm sorry I took over 45 minutes. So thank you again. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you.
يعني الحقيقة we can see how lucky we are and how blessed to have George معانا after a few years of COVID, but he's back to us again, and I hope he promised to always come. I know his schedule is swamped. We were talking about his schedule in 2025 and all over the world, but I'm sure he's gonna find a weekend for us. Also, we are fortunate to have just few copies of the book Timeless Truth in Truthless Times. So we were so lucky to get some of them, some copies. So whoever interesting can let me know, please. Okay? And we have a snack outside now, and tomorrow gonna be from 12 to 2 first session, and then we have a break 2 to 4 with another snack, and then 4 to 6, then we have the deacons' lessons and the vesper and the night praises. Thank you. And Sunday it's gonna be from 12, trying to finish at 1:30 because George has to catch his flight back. Thank you, everybody. Do we have a mic?
Make us worthy to pray, thankfully, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come now. Give us a stay out there. There is some snacks outside, enjoy it, and we will see George tomorrow